Hi, today we're going to talk about triggers and when we get triggered in our relationship. So, when we get triggered in our relationship, we usually respond by snapping at our partner or yelling at our partner or going completely silent with our partner, walking away, and all these things lead into a negative cycle or a downward spiral of communication or an argument that you just can't get out of. So that's why it's important to identify your triggers and learn how to track them so that they don't catch you by surprise and you're not reacting in a way that's not helpful to your relationship. So you may notice that you're getting activated by feelings that you have in your body. Maybe your face gets hot, you start to feel pounding in your chest or fear in your stomach. Those are some ways. So it could be that you feel it in your body first. And that's a good way to notice it if you can do that. That wasn't really what happened for me. I would just snap and start yelling, and before I knew it, I was in a negative cycle. And it was really hard to get out of it at that point. But sometimes that's the way we have to learn, and that was the way that I had to learn. When I started yelling, I knew I was being triggered. And so then I would start to learn, okay, I'm feeling it in my body, and then I can take care of it that way. But sometimes you notice it first by what you do. And so you can stop yourself there. Okay, I'm yelling, I'm clearly being triggered. I need to let my partner know that I need to take a step back so I can take care of whatever's happening for me, and then I can respond to them in a better way. So once I know that I'm being triggered, I can feel where I'm feeling it in my body. I can breathe into it, and I can give it some space. And then I can find out what that feeling is. And if it's a feeling of anger or frustration, then I can maybe get a little deeper underneath it, because the anger and the frustration keep the cycle going, and you can't really do a lot that's productive with that. So if you can get underneath to the more vulnerable feeling of sadness, fear, or shame, then you can take care of that feeling and understand it. So what did your partner do or say that triggered that reaction in you? And then you can kind of validate that or express understanding of it. Okay, my partner just did this to me. Of course I feel scared. They just threatened our relationship. And then that in itself will calm it down, naming the feeling first, and then validating the feeling or understanding it. And then what are you telling yourself that is kind of keeping that cycle going or getting you more activated? How could they say that to me? They must not care about me if they said that to me. And that's just going to pull you deeper into the negative cycle. So you can kind of just be mindful of what you're saying to yourself that's pulling you into it more. And then you can ask later, you can find out more information from your partner and get their perspective, because usually it's not what you think, and it's usually something that's deeper in you. Maybe it's usually an attachment wound, like a childhood wound that you've carried that's pretty deep, that gets you activated like that. So you're just seeing it again with your partner, but it's not, usually it's not, that's really not what it is. And once you get your partner's perspective on it, it will change what you start to tell yourself. So the story that you're telling yourself is often not real. So you have to really question that too. So what are you feeling in your body? Understanding that feeling that you're having. And what is that story that you're telling yourself? Because maybe it's not true. Maybe it's just a story. And all of that will calm you down, and then you'll be able to respond to your partner in a better way. You can identify what you need, and then you can express that to your partner. And it will go much better without all that emotion and energy and activation. So learning to track your triggers can be difficult. It's definitely a process. It doesn't happen overnight. I've worked really hard at this for a long time, and I still get triggered, and it still catches me by surprise sometimes. But I'm much better at doing it, and I'm much better at stopping the negative cycle before it gets started, and much better at responding differently. And because of that, the communication that I have with my partner is much better, and the trust that we built between us is much better. We don't get activated as much. We can keep it calm. We can actually communicate with each other, and we feel more confident about the way that we can communicate with each other. It's really great when you can do this, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of practice. So don't be discouraged. Just keep at it. Really, it's the only thing that we can do to have a better relationship, to be able to have relationships with each other, and to be able to love each other.